right? So yeah, so we have already finished with solution, guys, and we are starting with the new chapter. New chapter, new beginnings, new lessons for you. And it's not just a lesson in chemistry, it's also a lesson overall, right? You should save electricity. I know many of you don't. Many of you do also, right? So we are trying to say we'll go to the old age if we don't check ourselves at the right point, right? All right. So let's start with a chapter called electrochemistry, right? So if you see the weightage of this chapter, nearly, if you talk about your boards, there'll be one 1-mark question, one 2-mark question, one 5-mark question, total 8 marks. Total of 8 marks. Right? If you talk about your JEE and NEET mein there are roughly 2 questions, one to minimum. The point is this chapter resembles a lot with redox. So some questions might be like redox questions also, right? So 2 questions from this chapter in NEET. JEE means 1 question per chapter, right? That's all, right? KCET you get 3 questions. KCET you get average of 3 questions. KCET you get average of 3 questions. Right? All right. So I think I have answered all your doubts. Let me move ahead with my chapter, right? So what are we going to learn in this chapter? What is electrochemistry? So where we find electrochemistry, first of all of you can quickly see this Windows 10 ka front page, right? You should be happy seeing that, maybe. Lithium ion batteries, your iPhone, your OnePlus, your every gadget has a battery, right? So battery is a wide application of this chapter. So this chapter finds a wide application in cells, batteries, all those things. Now where what happens, that is what we need to study in this chapter, right? It's a lithium ion battery, Vismay. Yes, many of us will be having this laptop. Many of us. This is a very basic one. Now, what is electrochemistry, right? Electrochemistry deals with like thermochemistry, similar to that. Like thermochemistry, electrochemistry deals with the branch of science which involves the interconversions between electrical energy and chemical energy. So if you convert your electrical energy or to chemical energy or chemical energy to electrical energy, right? This conversion we study under the branch of electrochemistry. Now, what devices are used to do these conversions? They are most of the times divided into 2 categories, electrochemical and electrolytics. We'll come to that. Right. So, just a minute. Right. So, next is, I think we have seen the definition of electrochemistry, right? What do you don't, Siddharth? So, yes. So, electrochemistry will deal with the conversion of electrical energy to chemical energy or chemical energy to electrical energy. Now, we are going to learn about redox today, bit what we have summarized in the last year, redox reactions, galvanic cells, electrode potential, cell potential. Because I'm not sure ki every batch it has been done or not, but we need redox for sure in detail. Redox is required for us in detail, right? So let's start with basics of redox, right? So redox reactions involve reduction reactions and oxidation reactions happening simultaneously. So if reduction and oxidation is happening simultaneously, you say it is a redox reaction, correct? Now let us see what are these redox reactions. First, I am taking oxidation reaction. All of us are aware of it. Oxidation is basically loss of electron. We are just summarizing the things. Loss of electrons, right? We have taken an example here. Fe2 plus, oxidation state is +2, right? Now, if it gains 2 electrons, then it forms Fe. right? So this is gain of electrons. So it represents which reaction? Reduction reaction. But if you consider the reverse reaction, that means Fe to Fe2 plus 2 electron. So here your oxidation state is 0. Here your oxidation state of iron is +2. So you can say either increase in oxidation state or loss of electron is your oxidation, right? Whereas the reverse reaction, that means Fe2 plus gains 2 electrons to form Fe. So +2 minus 2, 0. So there is 0 charge on iron. So we say this is an addition of electron to Fe2 plus gain of electron. Therefore, we say it is a reduction reaction. So reduction reaction, oxidation reaction. When both of them happen simultaneously, you say it is a redox reaction, right? So this is what is mentioned here also. In terms of oxygen and hydrogen also you can mention, you have studied already. Gain of hydrogen is reduction. Loss of oxygen is also reduction. Gain of electrons is reduction. Decrease in oxidation number is reduction, right? This is your reduction reaction ka pura definition. And this is the example of reduction reaction. This is the example of oxidation reaction. I'm repeating again: addition of hydrogen, removal of oxygen, gain of electrons, and decrease in oxidation number. All these 4 things represent your reduction reaction, right? Oxidation is reverse. Loss of hydrogen, gain of oxygen, loss of electrons, or increase in oxidation number. These two I have just now explained you. Increase in oxidation number from 0 to +2. Oxidation number is increasing. So it is a loss of electron. So it represents your oxidation reactions. So I hope this part is clear for everyone, right? Now next we are coming to how do you remember it? There is a term you can use, oil rig. Oil rig. So oil rig means oxidation is loss of electron, reduction is gain of electrons. That is how you can remember it, right? I'm just summarizing everything which we have studied so far. Now what are oxidizing and reducing agents? So oxidizing and reducing agents. So oxidizing agent is species in a reaction which or reactant which undergoes reduction. So if there is a reactant which undergoes reduction, that reactant will be known as oxidizing agent, right? And reducing agent is species which undergo oxidation is called reducing agent, right? Let us take an easy example, right? Let us take an easy example. Very easy. If I take copper 2 plus zinc, Shashwat will understand it here. Gives you zinc 2 plus copper. Now we can do the following. Let us check zinc. So zinc oxidation number here is 0. Here it is +2. So it is going from 0 to +2. So increase oxidation number is increasing from 0 to +2. So increase in oxidation number is what? Oxidation reaction. Whereas copper is going from +2 to 0. So reduction is oxidation number is decreasing from +2 to 0. Since oxidation number is decreasing, you will say it represents which reaction? It represents reduction reaction. Correct? Right? Now, if you see this oxidation reaction, reduction reaction, now we need to check our reactants. What is my reactant which is undergoing reduction? Copper 2 plus is undergoing reduction to copper. So reactant which is undergoing reduction will be known as your oxidizing agent. And zinc is getting oxidized to Zn2 plus. So zinc is getting oxidized, so it will be known as your reducing agent. It will be known as your reducing agent, right? So similarly here you can see copper oxide plus hydrogen, right? This is addition of hydrogen. So copper oxide is gaining hydrogen. So it will undergo reduction. You can find it from oxidation number also. Copper oxidation number here is +1. I hope you remember how to find it. Let's say X is for copper oxygen is minus 2 is equal to 0. So 2x is equals to 2, x is equals to plus 2. Here x I have assumed to be oxidation number of copper. Since there are 2 copper atoms, so 2x. Oxygen is how much oxidation state? Minus 2. Overall charge is 0, so equated to 0. So x comes out to be plus 1. Copper here is 0. Water mein you can similarly find hydrogen oxidation state is plus 1. So hydrogen is going from 0 to plus 1. So it is oxidation, it is reduction. So species which is undergoing reduction will be known as oxidizing agent, and species which is undergoing oxidation will be known as reducing agent. Okay? This is quite simple as possible. Now, let us do a question on this so that we are done with the summary of the redox. Identify the oxidizing and reducing agent in the following example. Identify the oxidizing and reducing agents in the following example. Which of the following is an oxidizing agent? Which of the following is a reducing agent? Yes, poll is in front of your screen, Kiran. Check. Poll has already been released. Check, Kiran. Poll has already been released. Then, Kiran, you can answer on chat if you can't see the poll. Yes, so we are ending this, guys. It does not take much time. It's an easy one. Right. So let's end this on a count of 3, 2, 1. Now. Right. So this is quite easy, guys. So there are the following reactions, right? You have to identify the oxidizing and reducing agent in the following reactions, right? So now you can do, you have to identify oxidizing and reducing agent respectively in the following reaction. So let's check first one. So chlorine here is 0. So chlorine is going to minus 1. That means chlorine is decreasing the oxidation number. Decrease in oxidation number is what? Reduction. So if chlorine is undergoing reduction, it is a oxidizing agent. That means H2S is a reducing agent. Correct? If chlorine is undergoing reduction, it will act as a oxidizing agent. That means H2S will act as a reducing agent. So you have to identify oxidizing and then reducing agent respectively. So in first case, what is your oxidizing agent? Chlorine. So either option C or option A, right? Either of these two. Either option C or option A. Now let us check the next one. Aluminium here is 0. Here aluminium is plus 3. So aluminium is undergoing oxidation, increase in oxidation number from 0 to plus 3. Oxidation number is increasing. So since oxidation number is increasing, that means aluminium is undergoing oxidation. So if aluminium is undergoing oxidation, it will act as a reducing agent. And if aluminium acts as a reducing agent, Fe3O4 act as a oxidizing agent, right? So second example mein Fe3O4. So among A and C was our answer. So Fe3O4 is your oxidizing agent and aluminium is reducing agent. Fe3O4 oxidizing agent, aluminium reducing agent. So your correct answer is A. C is wrong. I will not check the third reaction. I will not check the third reaction, right? I hope it is clear. Yes. Any doubt till now, anyone? Yes. Anyone having any doubt till now? Yes, guys. Any doubt till now? Anyone? All right. Cool. So yes, let's move ahead with the galvanic cell. Before I go to the galvanic cell, I'll differentiate between the two types of cell present among us, right? So there are, what is an electrochemical cell? First, let me tell that. So electrochemical cell is a device which is used to convert electrical energy into chemical energy, or which is used to convert electrical energy into chemical energy, or chemical energy into electrical energy. So the device which you use to convert electrical energy into chemical energy or chemical energy into electrical energy is called your electrochemical cell, right? So both are possible. Now, electrochemical cell is of two types. One is known as galvanic cell or voltaic cell. Other is known as electrolytic cell, right? Now, what is your galvanic cell, right? I will not discuss the working here. I'll discuss the working after some time. So galvanic cell is the cell which is used to convert your chemical energy into electrical energy, right? It is a cell which is used to convert chemical energy into electrical energy and the chemical energy of a spontaneous reaction, right? It will use the chemical energy of that reaction which is spontaneous. Non-spontaneous reaction say you cannot generate a chemical energy easily. So chemical energy will be released only by spontaneous reaction. If reactions are not happening only, how will they generate chemical energy, right? So similarly, the reverse of this, the cell which converts electrical energy into chemical energy, electrical energy into chemical energy. Chemical energy means chemical reaction, right? Electrical energy is used to carry out a non-spontaneous chemical reaction. Then it is called electrolytic cell. So in this cell, there are some reactions which are non-spontaneous. If I want to do those reactions, how should I do? I should provide some force. And which force I provide in that case? I provide electrical energy to do those reactions which are non-spontaneous. If it was spontaneous reaction, I don't have to supply electrical energy. Like this. Here, the reaction is spontaneous. So chemical reaction will happen by itself. Chemical energy will be released, which will be converted into electrical energy. But here reaction is non-spontaneous. To do that, you need to supply energy. That means your electrical energy is used to carry out the chemical reaction, which will eventually give you chemical energy, right? So this is the basic difference between the two types of cell. I'll repeat, galvanic cell is used. Yes, Gautam. Galvanic cell is used to convert chemical energy to electrical energy, whereas electrolytic cell is used to convert electrical energy into chemical energy, right? I hope the difference is clear. Now, we are coming towards galvanic cell, right? So here you will not understand any picture of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it and then come back to this. I'll give you a story behind this. So there was an experiment which was done. You can read it from textbook also, right? Athar beta, electrolytic cell will convert your electrical energy into chemical energy, right? There are some chemical reactions which cannot happen by itself. To do those reactions, you have to supply some energy form. Which energy we are supplying to do those reactions? Electrical energy. So this cell will use electrical energy to carry out those reactions which are non-spontaneous, right? Those cells are known as electrolytic cell, right? You are right, Gaurav. Why spontaneous, non-spontaneous means? If the reaction is, see, you have to convert chemical energy into electrical energy, correct? For that, you should have chemical energy. Where will the chemical energy come from? God will not send. For chemical energy to be produced, chemical reaction should happen. And only those chemical reactions will happen which are spontaneous, correct? Now, let us say if your reaction is not spontaneous, it is non-spontaneous. But if you still want to do that reaction, then how should you do? You should supply some force. Which force you are applying? You are applying electrical energy. So the cell in which you are supplying electrical energy to carry out those reactions which are by itself non-spontaneous, but you are supplying energy, electrical energy to carry out those reactions are called electrolytic cell. Spontaneous, non-spontaneous matlab, if the reaction is not spontaneous, you will not get chemical energy which can be converted to electrical energy, right? Then you have to supply electrical energy to carry out that reaction. So if the reaction is spontaneous, it will be a part of galvanic cell. If reaction is not spontaneous, it will form a part of electrolytic cell. Okay? Right. So next is let me take a galvanic cell in brief, right? Galvanic cell in brief. Galvanic cell ka another type which I am taking here is, Athar, can you please beta wait? Athar, did I even speak about it? Athar, did I tell I will not tell that? Athar, did I tell I'll run away from without telling you that? Then you can wait. Let me finish. There is the reason. If I am seeing your chat, that should not excite you to write whatever comes to you into your head. I will not answer anything which I have not taught, irrespective of the fact whether I know it or not. Even if I know, I will not answer if I have not taught. To be honest, okay? Right? This is not out of ego. This is out of flow of the class. Okay? Flow of the class will get disturbed. Right? So galvanic cell, if you talk about, what we do here is, we know non-spontaneous means it will be slow. Then why we supply? Non-spontaneous, who said it will be slow? Who said you the non-spontaneous processes are the ones which are slow? Who said you that? Non-spontaneous processes are the process which may not happen by itself, right? Or even if you initiate, they may not continue. That is the definition of non-spontaneous process, right? You are taking half definition of non-spontaneous. I am giving you the full definition of non-spontaneous. So we know you are talking about half definition of non-spontaneous. That's the difference, right? So what I was saying, galvanic cell, right? So galvanic cell, if I take, I did one experiment. What was the experiment? We take a beaker, right? We inserted, let us say, copper sulfate solution in it. And then we had taken one zinc electrode and we kept a zinc electrode on it. Okay? In it. So after some days, 1 or 2 days, you observed the beaker again. You saw the following changes. What were the changes? The first change was copper sulfate is usually blue color. Copper sulfate here is blue color, right? So copper sulfate in general is blue, dot 5H2O. Some people will say, sir, no, 5H2O. So yeah, I know copper sulfate is blue. Now, after some days, you observed the color of copper sulfate became colorless. Okay? And this zinc electrode, which was thick, became very thin. It became very thin. Correct? And there was some red color. There was some red color species collected over here. Red, brown, whatever you can say. So these three observations was there. What was the first observation? The first observation was that zinc was dissolving. Zinc ka mass was decreasing. Second observation was copper sulfate ka blue color was decreasing. Let me write parallelly. Zinc mass decreased. Blue color disappeared. Third observation was some reddish brown, PPT was observed. Okay? Some reddish brown PPT was observed. Kind of PPT only. Now what we concluded from this? We concluded that the zinc electrode which you are taking and copper sulfate which you are taking are reacting with each other. So how are they reacting with each other? So zinc is reacting with copper sulfate to give you what? Zinc sulfate plus copper. This is what we concluded, right? So guys, I think I have already told you that physics class may not happen, but 7:15 you'll have a maths class. In place of physics class, 7:15 will be your maths class, right? So in place of physics class at 7:15, you will have a maths class taken by Janak sir, right? I hope it is clear. It's a normal maths class, not JEE exclusive, not anything inclusive. It's a normal maths class which everyone has to attend. Right? All right. So what I was saying, yes. So zinc sulfate was obtained, right? So you see, copper sulfate is getting converted into copper. So copper sulfate is blue. Copper is reddish brown type. So brown color was formed because of formation of copper. So this was due to copper. And zinc is getting converted into zinc sulfate. Therefore, zinc is dissolving and forming zinc sulfate solution. Correct? So now if you see, oxidation number here is 0. Copper is +2. Zinc is +2. Copper is 0. So zinc is going from +2, 0 to +2. So zinc is going from 0 to +2, giving you 2 electrons. Correct? And copper is going from +2 to 0, +2 to 0, consuming 2 electrons. That means zinc is giving 2 electrons, which is consumed by copper 2 plus ion. That means zinc is giving 2 electrons to copper 2 plus in solution. That means there is a flow of electrons. We can conclude that there is a flow of electrons from zinc to copper 2 plus. Correct? So what we assumed, I made the announcement that there will be a maths class at 7:15. There will be a maths class at 7:15. There will be a maths class at 7:15. I repeated 3 times. Please don't ask again. Right? Now we concluded that there is a flow of electron from zinc to copper 2 plus. Now the idea came into our mind from here that if there is a flow of electron and I can capture this flow of electron and utilize it, I will get current. Correct? So due to this chemical reaction, electron is transferred from zinc to copper 2 plus. So electron is flowing from zinc to copper 2 plus. So if I can make this electron flow from zinc to copper 2 plus in a wire, I'll get a cell or I'll get a battery. Correct? So that is what we were trying to say here. Right? Dhanush, do you know how many electrons are there? Do we know how many electrons are there? If we don't know, then how will we do that calculation? So beta, no, we can't comment on that. Until we don't know how much mass is there, we can't comment on that. Okay? Copper must gain electron. Copper is gaining electron only. Here, copper 2 plus is gaining 2 electron to form copper. Copper is gaining electron only, reduction. So this is your oxidation reaction. And this is your reduction reaction. Right? So let me summarize. So zinc mass was decreasing, copper blue color was diminished, reddish brown precipitate type of things was formed. 3 observations. What was the conclusion? Zinc is reacting with copper sulfate to form zinc sulfate and copper. Copper sulfate is getting converted into copper, which is red. Therefore, blue color is going. Zinc is getting dissolved to form zinc sulfate solution. Therefore, mass of zinc is decreasing. Now, when it happens, zinc goes from 0 to +2. So oxidation, releasing 2 electrons, and these 2 electrons are gained by copper 2 plus ion to form copper. So it's a complete redox reaction. So if it happens, zinc is giving 2 electrons to copper 2 plus. Zinc is giving 2 electrons to copper 2 plus. If that happens, that means zinc is giving 2 electrons to copper 2 plus. So if I can make a wire between them, then electron will flow through the wire, and when electron flows, we will get a current. So this is how we thought we can generate a electric current. This is the experiment given in your textbook. You can go home and read once. If at all we want, we can make questions out of this experiment. Right? We can make questions out of this experiment. Right. I hope there is no doubt on this. Any doubt? 5-second window. Please ask quickly. I'm moving towards the cell. Any doubts? Please ask quickly. Beta, I have not used any method only. Anushri beta, oxidation number method and half reaction method are used to balance the reaction. I have not balanced the reaction only. Right? I have not balanced the reaction only. So why are you worried about oxidation number method or this method or that method? I have just used their oxidation number 0 plus 2 plus 2 0 and said zinc is going from 0 to plus 2 and it is oxidation. Copper is going from plus 2 to 0. This is reduction. In fact, this example I have explained previously in redox topic. Right? Oxidation number of zinc will be reduced. Where it is reduced? Oxidation number of zinc is increasing from 0 to plus 2. Copper is decreasing from plus 2 to 0. How zinc oxidation number is decreasing? It is increasing. Why that rod becomes thin? Oh my God. Nivedita, beta, what is happening to this rod? This rod is getting converted into zinc sulfate. Zinc sulfate is a solution. So if this rod, which was solid, is getting converted into solution, so solid getting converted into solution means what? It is dissolving. So rod will become thin, na? If it is getting dissolved into solution. Right? Yes, Amrutesh. Here zinc is a reducing agent. Yes, Amrutesh, you are right. Sorry, you are right, Naren. We can't say that, Kishore. That depends upon how wire to be connected means, beta. I have not discussed yet. Wait. I have not discussed yet. What is left in that rod? Rod is left. It was thick more. Now it is thin. That is the only difference. What is left means what? Zinc is left. Earlier also it was zinc. Now also it is zinc. Zinc was there. Zinc is left. Sulfate ions. Irons. Can we use iron sulfate and zinc? You can use that also. It's completely fine. Right. Arey beta Dhanush. Why are you not understanding that reaction is not 100% complete? So why zinc will be completely gone? Some zinc will be remaining. No. Why you are assuming it is 100% complete? Okay, 100% complete. Then there is nothing remaining. Then there is nothing remaining. I don't understand why are you asking, sir, how still zinc is remaining? Beta, zinc is remaining because reaction is not completed. Some part of zinc is remaining. This is a common sense which you need to apply. Right? When will it attain equilibrium? I'll come to that, Ashwarya. That's a good question. I'll come to that. Right? Yes, at last zinc will disappear. Right? You can say that. Right. So, is this performed in dark? I don't know. This was not performed in dark as far as I know. Okay. Now, if you take this, what we are going to do this now is we are going to study the working of the cell. Before that, what we did is we had taken a zinc electrode and we kept it in zinc sulfate solution. Remember, zinc electrode in zinc sulfate solution. Then we had taken a copper electrode in copper sulfate solution. Right? We have done this now. So we already know from our experiment that this is zinc electrode, this is copper electrode, right? We already know from our experiments that zinc transfers electron to copper 2 plus. So what I have done is earlier copper 2 plus and zinc was in the same beaker. So zinc can transfer electron to copper 2 plus easily. Now what I'm doing is I have separated them in a separate beaker, but I have connected your zinc with a wire to copper and copper is connected to copper 2 plus. Correct? So eventually what will happen? Zinc will give electron which will be taken by through copper electrode which will be taken by copper 2 plus. Now I have separated my zinc which was giving electron from copper 2 plus which was accepting electron. So now electrons will flow in a wire, and when electrons will flow in a wire, they will generate a electric current. They will generate a electric current, right? That is a process here which we are using. Now let us see what will happen eventually, right? So here we know zinc will undergo oxidation. So at this reaction, at this half, what will happen? Zinc will undergo oxidation to give you zinc 2 plus ion and 2 electrons, correct? And here what will happen? Copper 2 plus will accept those 2 electrons to form copper. This is the reaction happening. Now all of you pay attention. All of you pay attention. Electrons are generated at this electrode. So I can say zinc is electron generator. Zinc is electron generator. It is generating electron. So since it is generating electron, this electrode will have what charge? Negative charge. Correct? And this is accepting electron. So this electrode will have what charge? Positive charge. So this electrode is positively charged. This electrode is negatively charged. Right? So I hope the convention of sign is clear. I hope the convention of sign is clear that the electrode which is generating electron is your negatively charged. The electron which is accepting electron is your positively charged. Now, what about anode and cathode? Right? Yes, Chetan. Now, this electrode which undergoes oxidation, you'll define it as anode, and the electrode which undergoes reduction will be defined as cathode. Right? Why cathode? You can understand it from this fact. Copper 2 plus will take electrons from electrode. So copper 2 plus has to move to electrode. For that, electrode has to be a negative charge. Now cations are moving towards electrode. So you'll say it is a cathode. Right? So remember this. Oxidation happens at anode always. Oxidation happens at anode and reduction happens at cathode always. You can remember this word called LOAN. Right? You can remember this word called LOAN. Right? Now, Ganesh beta, what you know, Ganesh don't understand anything. Remember, there is no logic here. There is a convention that the electrode where oxidation happens is named as anode, and the electrode where reduction happens is named as cathode. You understand that? I was just trying to give you a logical reason, but I'm not going to give it to that. Right? That's not required. You remember? Right? You remember cathode pe reduction happens, anode pe oxidation happens. Right? But you should remember the sign convention. That is very important. Why your anode is negatively charged? Because it is electron generator. Your cathode is positively charged. Why? Because it is accepting electrode. Right? Now, one thing you have to remember, reduction happens at cathode. Right? Reduction happens at cathode. Right? No, Gaurav, you're wrong. Anode is negatively charged here. Gaurav, you're talking about electrolytic cells. You're talking about Daniel cell. These two things are different, Gaurav. That's why please hold patience. Copper, usually, Amrutesh, we usually use copper wire. Now, what we did, now let us see what is happening in the solution. So zinc is getting converted into, this zinc is getting converted into zinc 2 plus. Correct? Initially, this solution was having zinc 2 plus ion and sulfate ion. Correct? And the amount of zinc 2 plus ion and sulfate ion was equal. The amount of zinc 2 plus ion concentration and sulfate ion concentration was equal. So positive charge was equal to negative charge. But when zinc oxidizes to give you Zn2 plus ion, here the concentration of Zn2 plus ion will increase. Yes? Is this point clear? Initially, zinc sulfate mein Zn2 plus and sulfate ions were equal. But since zinc is giving more Zn2 plus ions in solution, the concentration of zinc 2 plus ion in the solution will increase. Right? Is this point clear? This is very important. So what will happen due to this? This part of the solution will become positively charged. This part of the solution will become positively charged. Now let us see what is happening in the other beaker. So what happens in the other beaker is copper 2 plus. So here also initially the concentration of copper 2 plus was equal to sulfate ion. Initially, concentration of copper 2 plus was equal to copper sulfate ion. This was the initial values. Copper positive ion equal to negative ion in an electrolyte. But what is happening? Copper 2 plus is consumed, is getting converted to copper. So copper 2 plus is migrating and depositing into copper. So copper will get more formed here. More copper will be formed here. But copper 2 plus, since it is getting converted to copper, amount of copper 2 plus will decrease. So the concentration of copper 2 plus will decrease. So now the sulfate ion concentration will be more than copper 2 plus ion. So the solution will acquire what charge? Negative charge. So one side of the solution will become positive. Next side of the solution will become negative. Right? Now let us see what will happen because of that. So this zinc is throwing zinc 2 plus ion into solution. But let us say if this whole solution becomes positively charged, if this whole solution becomes positively charged, will zinc be able to throw zinc 2 plus ion into the solution? No. Incoming zinc 2 plus ion will face more repulsion from the positive charge in the solution. So as the positive charge starts building in the left side, the incoming zinc 2 plus ion will face more repulsion. So tendency of zinc to give zinc 2 plus ion will decrease. So oxidation will not happen easily, right? Oxidation will stop after some time. Oxidation will stop after some time. If oxidation stops, electron will not be released into the circuit. And if electrons are not released into the circuit, current will not flow. Right? Is this point clear, everyone? Why, Prashant? Beta, this is so logical thing. What to say? Prashant, you understand that zinc, the positive charge will increase in the solution? Prashant, this point is clear? Probably, Prashant, this everybody has understood except you. So if the solution becomes positive charge, Prashant, then what is zinc doing? Zinc is giving you zinc 2 plus ion. So zinc was giving you Zn2 plus ion. So the incoming Zn2 plus ion now will face repulsion from the positive charge in the solution. Right? So will zinc be able to release Zn2 plus ions that easily? Will zinc will be able to release that zinc 2 plus ion easily? No. Will oxidation happen easily? No. If lot of positive charge develops, will oxidation happen at all? No. If oxidation does not happen, will electron be released? No. If electrons are not released, will current flow? No. Will cell work? No. So therefore, this cell will give you current for 4 or 3 minutes. After that, cell will be dead. Right? So what you should do is, for that, we use something called our salt bridge. Now we will use something called salt bridge. Ayyo. Just a minute, guys. Now we will use something called salt bridge. Let us see what is salt bridge. Now we'll use salt bridge. So there is a salt bridge which we add. Salt bridge which we add. So it is a U-shaped tube. U-shaped tube. Right? So this is your salt bridge. It usually contains solution of KCl, right? KNO3, these type of salts. It usually contains a salt solution, and let me write, it contains a saturated salt solution. So salt bridge contains saturated salt solution, right? Now you can use, I'll tell that, Naren, I'll come to that later. Let me first clear this out. So you will use a saturated solution of some salt. First, let me explain you what is the function of this salt, how this salt will help you. So the moment your solution becomes positive charge here, the anion of salt bridge will come out and neutralize your positive charge. So Cl minus will come and neutralize your extra Zn2 plus ion to form zinc chloride, which is soluble, right? So what is the function of this salt bridge? The moment there is extra positive ion here, positive charge here, it will send a negative ion here. When it sends a negative ion, it will neutralize your positive charge, right? Similarly, this side of solution will become extra negative charge. So it will send a cation, let's say K plus, to neutralize your extra negative charge. So what is the function of salt bridge here? What is it doing? It is maintaining electrical neutrality in the left side and right side of the cell. So left side will also become neutral, right side will also become neutral. If this side becomes neutral, then zinc can do oxidation easily, electron will be released again easily, and cell will work smoothly. So what is the function of salt bridge? It maintains electrical neutrality of the circuit. Is this point clear? What does it do? It maintains electrical. It's a indirect. Yes, it is indirectly that only, Aditya. So what does it do? It maintains electrical neutrality. First function is clear or not? Right. First function is clear or not? Right. So now this thing is very important. Second function. Now when you draw a circuit, electrical circuit, let's say electron goes from here to here. What after that? This circuit is not closed, right? This circuit is not closed. So after that, the circuit is completed by the ions of the salt bridge. So what is the second function of salt bridge? It completes your circuit, right? If salt bridge was not there, electron is coming from here to here, finished, right? But due to salt bridge, ions are flowing into the solution, right? So in the external circuit, who is conducting the current? Electrons. In the internal circuit, who is carrying the current? Ions. K plus ion here, Cl minus ion here, right? So second function is to complete the circuit, right? Internal circuit. So here electrons are flowing the current. Here your ions are flowing the current. So now your circuit becomes complete. So to complete the circuit is the second function of the salt bridge. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear. Both the functions, right? I hope it is clear. Right. Now let me come to that. There is another function. We'll not touch that now. So you see here, this is the salt bridge. We have mentioned it separately. U-shaped tube containing a inert salt like KNO3, KCl, NaCl, right? Those salt which are inert, second condition for a salt to be used as salt bridge is, which is very important. Second condition is mobility. Mobility of cation of a salt bridge should be equal to mobility of anion of a salt bridge. That means if the cation is moving with a velocity of 2 meters per second, anion should also move with the same velocity. Why? Because by the time anion should reach here and neutralize the positive charge, cation should neutralize this negative charge here. If they are not reaching on the same time, the neutralization will not happen together. So effectively, both the halves will not be neutral at the same time. So again, cell will not work. So therefore, salt bridge ka most important condition is your mobility of cation should be equal to mobility of anion, right? Right? I hope it is clear. All right. Second function, beta, second function is to complete the internal circuit. Kishore, outer circuit mein electrons are flowing. After that, what will happen? Circuit is not complete. So the inner circuit mein ions are flowing and they are making sure the current is conducted in the inner circuit also, right? So now the circuit is complete. Earlier circuit was incomplete. It was not closed. Circuit should always be closed. So second function is to complete the circuit, right? Right? Now, You cannot check, Pritesh. It should be given in basically size. Sizes should be similar. So this is what is mentioned here also. Mobility of cation should be equal to mobility of anion. Completes the electrical circuit. I have explained you. Right? Maintains the electrical neutrality of the both electrodes. I have explained you. Maintains spontaneity of the cell reaction. Yes, correct. If the both sides are neutral now, cell will work easily. Cell will become neutral, so oxidation will happen at anode, reduction will happen at cathode. So nothing will be a problem. So cell will work as it is. There will be no problem, right? All right. So let me summarize. Oxidation happens, electrons are flown. Reduction happens, electrons are consumed. So flow of electron results in a current. Electron flows from anode to cathode. Current will flow from cathode to anode. Reverse. Sign convention. Reverse of flow of electrons. Now, as the oxidation happens, positive charge develops here, negative charge develops here. To neutralize these charges, we use salt bridge. So salt bridge neutralizes these charges as well as it completes the internal circuit. In the outer circuit, current is carried by electrons. In the inner circuit, current is carried by ions of salt bridge, right? So this is what I had to explain, right? Does in normal cell these beta KV Chetan? I will not answer this now because I have not explained you all types of cell till now. So let me come to the all types of cell. So this is not something which I can explain now, right? Yes. So now this is what is explained here, right? So you see here. Yes, I'm coming to that. Gaurav. Left side mein you have oxidation. Left side mein oxidation, right? And it is known as anode, right? And it is negatively charged. That is the meaning of lone. Left side electrode pe oxidation happens and it is known as anode, and it is what charge? It is negative charge. So one word mein you can remember. Atharv, Gaurav, I have answered your doubt. So guys, you can see same thing has been mentioned here. You can see this structure overall, right? It is better explained here diagrammatically. Zinc mass will keep on decreasing. Copper mass will keep on increasing, right? Because zinc is getting dissolved. Copper 2 plus is forming copper. So mass of copper will keep on increasing. Mass of zinc will keep on decreasing. Last point, which point, Kayuri? What was the last point, Kayuri? Salt bridge, last point is what? Spontaneity. Spontaneity, obviously, na Kayuri. If you neutralize the positive charge here, then oxidation will happen easily. So cell reaction will be spontaneous. Why reaction was stopped? Why reaction was stopped? Because of positive charge. Salt bridge neutralize this positive charge. So reaction will again start happening. So reaction will be spontaneous. It will not stop. Right? All right. So this is your basic working of cell. Any doubt in this, please ask. If salt is over in U-shaped tube, then beta, you know the meaning of saturated solution? You know the meaning of saturated solution? Maximum concentration. If it also gets over, you replace your salt bridge. Simple, hai? Right? Now, I hope it is clear, guys. Let's move ahead. So next we are going towards representation of cell. This is again very, very important. So whatever you have drawn till now, that is same thing you will represent. Nothing different. Right? How do we represent a cell? So all of you, please pay attention what I'm going to write here. So while writing cell representation, remember two things. Some points. Two phases will be separated by a single vertical line. Two phases means solid, liquid, aqueous, gas. So two phases will be separated by a single vertical line, right? I don't know, Naren. I have not taught that. I'll again not answer it. Naren, I need to first reach there. Okay? So, second point here is two faces will be separated by a single vertical line. Salt bridge. Salt bridge is represented by double vertical line. Right? Salt bridge is represented by double vertical line. Now, how do you represent overall cell representation? On the salt bridge left side, you represent oxidation reaction or anode part. On the right side, you represent reduction reaction or cathode half. Right? There are two halves, anode half and cathode half. So whatever you see here, anode say zinc is getting converted zinc 2 plus. So anode half oxidation is happening. Then what comes? Salt bridge. After that, copper 2 plus gains electron to form copper. This is which part? Reduction. So therefore, after that, reduction. You don't have to by heart. Whatever is happening here, you have to write there. Oxidation, salt bridge, reduction. Okay? Now, let me represent this cell which we have done just now in front of you. So if I represent that cell, so anode reaction was what? Zinc was getting converted into zinc 2 plus 2 electron, and at cathode copper 2 plus was getting converted to copper. Correct? So now how do we represent? First of all, center में salt bridge, left side में anode का reaction. So zinc is getting converted to zinc 2 plus. Now this is solid, this is aqueous. So therefore I have separated two different faces by a single vertical line. Now right side में copper 2 plus is getting converted to copper. So copper 2 plus is getting converted to copper. Copper is solid. Copper 2 plus is aqueous. Again different phases. So we should separate them by a vertical line. Correct? Right? Kayuri, screen is working, beta. I hope it is clear. Now, there is a wiring. There is a wiring which will happen between your anode to cathode, and the electrons will flow from anode to cathode. This is how you represent your cell. Now, two things you should know very well. If I add these two reactions, what do I get? I get zinc plus copper 2 plus gives you zinc 2 plus copper. 2 electron will get cancelled. So left side will get zinc plus copper 2 plus, zinc plus copper 2 plus. Right side will get zinc 2 plus copper, zinc 2 plus copper. Right? So I hope it is clear. Right? So what you should know? You should know from cell reaction how to write cell representation, and from cell representation how to write cell reaction. These two things should be clear, right? Yes. Is this cell representation clear to everyone? Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? Achha, there is limitation of salt bridge. I had to tell that. I'll tell that. Chandan, I'll tell that. Just let me come to that later. Yes. Any other doubt? No, right? All right. So I think I have explained you the function of salt bridge. I need to mention the limitation of salt bridge. What is the limitation of salt bridge? So guys, I told you there was an extra Zn2 plus ion. Cl minus comes and neutralize this Zn2 plus by forming ZnCl2. This ZnCl2 should be soluble. It should be soluble. Then only it is functioning as salt bridge. Let us say if I take silver electrode instead of zinc, let me take silver electrode in the presence of Ag plus. Then if Cl minus comes outside to neutralize extra silver plus, then you will get AgCl. But we know AgCl is not soluble. It will precipitate. If it precipitates, all your Ag plus in the solution will get converted into solid form, right? So therefore, cell will again stop working, right? So you cannot use any salt bridge ion which will form precipitate at anode or cathode. So your salt bridge ion should not form any precipitate at anode or cathode, right? I hope it is clear. Now let's come back to cell representation. Yes, any doubt in this, guys? Right, very good. How to decide, how should I decide which electrode will act as cathode, which electrode will act as anode, right? How do I decide which electrode will act as cathode and which electrode will act as anode? For that, we define something called electrode potential. Electrode potential, right? What is an electrode potential? All of you, please pay attention. What is an electrode potential? Let me do the following, right? Let me take Zn in Zn2 plus ion. I'm taking, or let me take M general electrode in M2 plus ion. I'm taking any random electrode. Now let us see what can happen. One possibility is this M gets converted into M2 plus ion. So one possibility is this M gets converted into M2 plus ion, right? So M gets converted into M2 plus ion plus 2 electron. What is the other possibility? Other possibility is M2 plus gets converted into M. These are the two possibilities when I take them. M2 plus gets converted into M, right? Now basically what I'm trying to say is M has a tendency to give M2 plus ion. M2 plus has a tendency to give M. So if tendency of M to get converted into M2 plus is more than M2 plus to get converted to M, then first reaction will happen. And if this tendency of this reaction is more, then this reaction will happen. But we can't find the tendency of a reaction. So what we'll do is, let us see this. So I'll define electrode potential first. So since this happens, what will happen in the solution? Correct? So if M is giving you continuously M2 plus, right? So there will be lot of positive charge developed in the solution. There will be lot of positive charge developed around metal electrode. Can anybody tell me what will be the charge developed? What will be the charge developed on the electrode? What will be charge developed on the electrode? Negative. You have studied in electrostatics. Negative charge will be developed on electrode. Correct? Now, the positive, now see carefully, the layer, positive layer and negative layer will act as two kind of electrodes. You can say that. So the potential difference between this positive layer and negative layer, potential difference will be there. Potential difference will be there. And we know this potential difference will be measured in which unit? Volts. It will be measured in which unit? Volts. So guys, now in this case, this potential will be called oxidation potential. Why it will be called oxidation potential? Why it will be called oxidation potential? Because it is developed due to which reaction? Oxidation reaction. Is it clear? So this potential will be called oxidation potential. Now the reverse is if M2 plus ion gets converted to M. If M2 plus ion gets converted to M, right, they will continuously keep giving you M, then M2 plus ion concentration in solution will decrease. So if positive ion concentration in solution decreases, solution will get what charge? Negative charge. Correct? And then electrode will acquire what charge? Positive. Again, there will be some potential difference. Again, there will be some potential difference. This potential difference is now called reduction potential of the electrode, because this potential has been developed due to reduction reaction. It has been developed due to reduction reaction. It has been developed due to oxidation reaction. So your electrode potential is known as, is of two types, oxidation potential or reduction potential. Now to define it, how will I make it easy for you? Just remember, tendency of an electrode to do oxidation or reduction is called its oxidation potential or reduction potential. Correct? Yes. Now, what is oxidation potential? It is tendency of electrode to do oxidation. Whereas what is reduction potential? Tendency of electrode to do what? Reduction. Right? So the electrode having more reduction potential will do more reduction, will do reduction easily. The electrode having less reduction potential will not do reduction easily, it will do oxidation. Right? Now let me give you some values. Always remember, oxidation potential of a metal and reduction potential of a metal, magnitude is same, only sign will change. What does it mean? It means if I write E is a symbol of the potential, Zn2 plus 2 Zn. So what is happening here? Plus 2 to 0. Reduction. That means whatever potential I'm writing is reduction potential. So it is minus 0.76 volt. Let's say if I want to write oxidation potential of zinc. So that means zinc 2 plus. Now it is oxidation happening, 0 to plus 2. So what will be oxidation potential? Just change the sign, plus 0.76. So that is what I'm saying. For a same metal, oxidation potential and reduction potential are negative of each other. Okay? Now I'm giving you two potentials. Please see this carefully. Electrode potential Zn2 plus 2 Zn is minus 0.76, whereas electrode potential, now what does not signify here? It signifies standard potential. Standard means the concentration of M plus ion should be 1 molar. Then it is called standard. Okay? Now copper 2 plus 2 copper is what? Let's say 0.34 volt. Can you tell me which electrode has more potential? Zinc or copper? Which has more? See, this is also reduction. This is also reduction. Both are reduction. So which electrode has more reduction potential? Which electrode has more reduction potential? Copper. It is plus 0.34. It is minus 0.76. Very less. So copper has more reduction potential. This has less reduction potential. If I bring them together, copper has more reduction potential. That means tendency of copper to do reduction is more. Tendency of zinc to do reduction is less. So who will do reduction? Copper or zinc? Who will do reduction? Copper or zinc? If I bring them together, copper will do the reduction because its reduction potential is more. Zinc will do the oxidation. And we just studied electrode which do oxidation is anode and electrode which do reduction is cathode. Now I hope you understood to identify in a galvanic cell which electrode is anode, which is cathode. You need to see their values. You need to see their values, right? Now, how do we know their values? All the elements are arranged in their increasing order of reduction potential values. and that series is known as electrochemical series. These values will be given to you in exam. Electrochemical series mein we have arranged all the metals in their increasing order of reduction potential, right? Yes, Sakshi, you can take a screenshot. I will show you that series and end this class. Yes, so you can see here, right? You can see this series. All the metals are arranged in their increasing order of reduction potential, right? So which is having maximum reduction potential? Fluorine. Which is having minimum reduction potential? Lithium, right? So this series is used. I will tell you how to remember this series also, right? So this is used for finding the reduction potential. Now from this series, you can know which has more reduction potential, which has less reduction potential. So the electrode having more reduction potential will act as cathode. Electrode having less reduction potential will act as anode. All right, that's all from my end today, guys. Thank you for joining in. For those who are waiting for the quiz, let me launch it for you because I know you have a maths class also. So let me quickly do this. Right, you can use this, read this. This is a quite interesting fact. Beta, Naren, I will take it in next class. Naren, why are you running ahead? Naren, why are you running ahead? Don't run. I will cover everything. Trust me. I will not leave anything. I will not leave anything. Don't worry. I will teach everything. There are only two reasons why students ask ahead things. Either they want to show off, right? That is one. The second reason may be they are worried teacher will skip it. So second will not happen. Don't worry. Okay? Right. So what is the gas involved here? I'm not doing a solid state class. I have the problems ready, but I'm not doing it because you have another class lined up after this. Right. So there's an interesting fact. Tennis balls are made up of placing sodium nitrite in ammonium chloride. You should know this. You will know this in second year for sure. Each in two halves. When these pellets react, they release a gas which expands the tennis ball. It is nitrogen. Jagdish has Googled it. It is N2 gas. By the way, you don't have to know it. You can logically figure it out. See here. Sodium nitrite, NaNO2. React it with ammonium chloride. You will get ammonium nitrite, NH4, NO2. So two hydrogen, when you heat this compound, basically two hydrogen, 4 hydrogen, 2 oxygen will form 2H2O. What is left? One nitrogen is left, one nitrogen is left. It will form N2. But it is a very good application of this reaction. It is nitrogen gas which is used in tennis balls. Okay? Nitrite Gangadhar, not nitrate. Yes, gas releases. Tennis ball mein you have not played cricket, yeah. Tennis ball mein it becomes very flungy sometimes because the gas leaks from the pores. Lawn tennis re, Gokul, lawn tennis. Table tennis mein kahan? Right, so we'll do this. See, the questions are ready, but I know you have a class, so I'm not discussing them now. Right? I'm not discussing them now. So we'll do it tomorrow. Okay, don't worry about it. All right, that's all. Are mere bhai Pritesh, people have to eat something also, na? I can do. I have no problem. I am free. But you guys have class at 7:15, na? So they already some people are left. Yeah, nahi, I'll discuss them tomorrow in class. Don't worry, Vijay Lakshmi. I'll discuss them tomorrow in class. Everything, Chandan. I did everything. Okay, Adesh. It's okay, Athar. I didn't mind it, by the way. I didn't even realize it's a mistake. Don't worry, I have big patience in life. I don't get frustrated by all these things. A lot of patience in life. Don't get carried away by this. Yes, Naren, thank you, beta. Uh, just a minute. Kiran, you need to ask what is your doubt. I am not going to pura repeat it. I'll clear only your doubt part. You can't say you are not understood. It's a very basic thing which I have explained there. You can ask me whatever you have not understood there. I'll explain. Yes, Kiran, what is your doubt? Monisha, this is your IUPSC representation slide. This is your IUPSC representation slide. Can we say electrochemical series is based on decreasing order of? Let me conclude that tomorrow, Sonali. I am yet to discuss the applications of electrochemical series. I'll discuss it tomorrow. Vishwanath, other than that, you can check Cengage if you get. Vishwanath. How did I identify oxidation potential? These values, these are given values, standard values. I have not derived them. They are from this electrochemical series. MCQ के लिए I would recommend Cengage. Previous slide, okay. एक minute, Kiran, let me unmute you. I can't understand what you are asking. Kiran, what is your doubt?
Oxidation potential.
एक minute, beta, your voice is very low. Kiran, speak loud.
Sir, how to decide which electrode is cathode?
Come again.
Sir, how to decide which electrode is cathode?
Beta, I have written here, na? What I have written here? The electrode which is having more reduction potential will do reduction. What is reduction potential? Tendency to do reduction, right? So here tendency to do reduction for copper is more than zinc. So copper will do reduction, and reduction happens at which electrode? Cathode. So in short, electrode having more reduction potential. Electrode having more reduction potential will be cathode. Is this clear now? Yes, Kiran, is this clear now? Kiran, is that clear now, Kiran?
Yes, sir.
Okay, beta. Why current will flow in opposite direction? Kishore, that's a convention. It has been assumed if electron flows from left to right, current will flow from right to left. There is no explanation for it. It is a convention. Like work done in thermodynamics is a convention. So similarly, it is also a convention. All right, let's end this, guys. Okay. Yes, Kiran, previous slide. All right, let's end this now.